Okay, so this is definitely going to be a video that divides a lot of opinions, but you know what, I think it should be a fun one anyway, because right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Finn here, and welcome to my Premier League team of the season so far for the 21-22 season. Now, at the time of recording, we are about halfway through the 21-22 Premier League season, and I thought it would just be a fun video idea to give you my team of the season so far, who have been the best players in every position in a combined starting 11 in the Premier League so far this season. Now, I did see the likes of Sharky Does Sports do this video. That is kind of where I gained inspiration for this video idea, so big up to him. Of course, luckily, football is one of those things where everyone's allowed to share their opinion. Everyone agrees on everything, and there are never any fights. Although I do wish that was the case, that is definitely not the case. So guys, do please remember that this is just my Premier League team of the season so far. If you do have any disagreements, which I'm sure a lot of you will, do put down in the comment section down below who you would have put in those positions, and also along with that, tell me which Premier League club do you support and who has been your club's player of the season so far. But jumping straight into things, looking at my goalkeeper of the Premier League season so far for the 21-22 season, halfway into the season I have to put Aaron Ramsdale in. Yes, I know there are goalkeepers with more clean sheets than him so far this season, there are goalkeepers with better stats than him, but the way Aaron Ramsdale has changed this Arsenal team from the back, has gotten 8 clean sheets for them, has gotten 52 saves. I feel like he's put so much confidence into the back of this Arsenal defense. I mean, it's either between him or David De Gea in my opinion. Unfortunately, David De Gea doesn't have enough clean sheets, although has been brilliant for Manchester United. My personal Manchester United player of the season so far. I know the likes of Alisson and a few other goalkeepers have more clean sheets, but as I said, just because of the personal impact that Aaron Ramsdale has had on this Arsenal team, I feel like you have to put him in the combined starting 11. He is definitely the future of England, and let's not sugarcoat this thing. I mean, in fact, let's just pour a whole bag of sugar onto it and be as honest as possible. Aaron Ramsdale was brought into Arsenal as a second choice goalkeeper, and now Bernd Leno can't get anywhere near the starting 11. Aaron Ramsdale has been such a brilliant goalkeeper, still so young, has so much potential, and as I said, that is my goalkeeper of the season so far. Now jumping into my back four, my defense, starting in the right back position. Although I was so tempted to choose good old Trent Alexander-Arnold, I have gone for the likes of Reece James. In terms of a right back, has 4 goals, 5 assists. In terms of his defensive ability, I mean, he just makes the right calls almost all the time. What a brilliant right back, and as I said, is going to be my right back of the Premier League season so far. Has to be within my team of the season. Look, nothing bad against Trent. I would honestly say that Trent is probably still the best right back in the world. In terms of assists, once again, pulling insane numbers. He's 7 assists. Once again, Trent Alexander-Arnold, we know at this stage that he is on a whole other level. But looking at the Premier League so far this season, just Reece James, the kind of input he's put into games and the impact he's had on Chelsea so far, I have to give it to him. Looking at my left back on the other side of the field, we're going to look at the likes of João Cancelo. Now look, in my opinion, there's absolutely no one that rivals João Cancelo. For Manchester City, he has been an absolute animal, and that's considering the fact that he's not even a left back. He's a right back playing in a left back position. Has been an absolute animal, although hasn't gotten a goal yet, has gotten 3 assists. He's got the most passes out of anyone else in this Manchester City team. He's got the most shots, which really weird for a fullback considering he's got the most shots in the team, the second most in the team in terms of tackles after Rodri, and the most interceptions in terms of both attacking and defensive ability. Just like Reece James, Cancelo, once again, whole different animal this season. And once again, I just don't see any other left-back rivaling or having a rivalry with him in my opinion. As I said, maybe you guys have different opinions on the matter. Maybe you guys have a different name in mind. Put down in the comment section down below. But looking at the 2 centre-backs, first of all, I've got Thiago Silva, another Chelsea defender, which at his ripe old age, at like 37 years old, he is still an absolute animal. He can score goals, he can have goal line clearances. In terms of almost being 40 years old, you would never guess it. Thiago Silva, one of the most underrated centre-backs of all time. And no, I'm not just putting him in this combined starting 11 out of just pity for him because of his age. He has genuinely been a superstar, and I feel like every time I look at everyone's team of the week, every time a Premier League match weekend ends, Thiago Silva is always in there. Just the impact and leadership he's got for Chelsea, you just have to put him in the best combined starting 11 so far this season. And his centre-back partnership, it's going to be at club level, and in my list, it is going to be Antonio Rudiger, which yes, I know 3 defenders from Chelsea so far in my combined starting 11. And I know that is very Chelsea heavy at the moment, but you have to look at things. Chelsea do have the best defense in the league at the moment, so I think it was almost inevitable. But looking at Antonio Rudiger, as I said, Thiago Silva's defensive ability is very, very good. And same goes to Antonio Rudiger. And in terms of his distribution from the back, that's where I feel like he's almost a level ahead of Silva in terms of his distribution, getting the ball out from the back. He has been brilliant. I mean, versus Manchester United, as a United fan, I'll not forget that game. Just the impact he had versus United. Even going forward as a centre-back, I was terrified that he would score a goal. Rudiger, I've heard many people say that he's probably the best centre-back in the league at the moment. And you know, I don't know if I would argue too much with that. Yes, we've got other brilliant centre-backs. I think Matip is in a shout for being in the team of the season so far. Virgil van Dijk, possibly. Ruben Diaz. We've got a few other centre-backs that I could probably mention. But as I said, Rudiger has just been a different animal this season, and I can't not put him in my combined starting 11. Now moving on from the defence to the midfield, which maybe this is where it's going to be slightly more controversial, if I might say. The first one I'm going to put in has to be a guaranteed in the likes of Bernardo Silva, a player who's played as a false 9, as a striker, as a winger, as a cam for Manchester City over the last few years, has now played in more of a box-to-box midfield kind of role as a central midfielder so far this season, and he has absolutely nailed down that position, which funnily enough, the 2 Manchester City players I've got so far in this list have been Portuguese, but Bernardo Silva, different animal so far this season, has gotten 7 goals, has probably been Manchester City's star man after almost Cancelo, I would say. Or you know what, lots of people I know would say that he has been their star player this season, has been the difference maker for Manchester City, which is so weird to say, or it's such a bold statement to say, considering how many star players they have in their team. But as I said, Bernardo Silva has just been a different animal and probably been the best midfielder in the Premier League so far this season, and you can't not put him in your combined starting 11. Looking at the central midfielder I'm putting next to him, I've got the likes of Declan Wright in kind of a holding midfield position. Looking at Declan Wright so far, he's gotten 40 tackles so far this season and has made the most recoveries out of any outfield player so far this season. Declan Wright, once again, although I said about Bernardo Silva in terms of a defensive midfielder, there's no better player in the entire league, maybe in the entire world, in the defensive midfield position than Declan Wright. In terms of his defensive ability, as I just mentioned some stats, he is beyond impressive. He's added goals and assists to his game so far this season. I mean, Declan Wright is just such a leader of the game, and for West Ham United this season has been extremely impressive, and just the impact he has on his team once again deserves to be in my team of the season. Now moving on to my third and final midfielder, once again might be a bit controversial, although I would love to put the likes of Mason Mount, another Chelsea player, in there. He has been brilliant so far this season, but I'm going to go for a Chelsea loanee in the likes of Conor Gallagher. Once again, Conor Gallagher has just been terrific this season. I can't believe he's just out on loan. The fact that he can't even get in to Chelsea's midfield, but 6 goals and 3 assists. That is absolutely insane. 9 goal contributions from a loanee player. There's no doubt that he'll be Crystal Palace's player of the season so far this season. As I said, in terms of goal contributions moving forward, I feel like he is the difference maker for Crystal Palace. He is the reason Crystal Palace are looking so good and have won so many points this season. As I said, just in terms of individuality and the amount of times and the way he's changed this Crystal Palace team, I think a lot of credit has to go to him, and because of that, I just have to edge him over Mason Mount. As I said, it is a very tricky one, but I wouldn't argue if someone put Mason Mount in their team over Conor Gallagher. I think it's very close. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to maybe the most controversial part of this list, the front 3. Who is my front 3 so far this Premier League season? Well, I think let's just knock out the obvious one in the likes of Mo Salah in the right wing position. I mean, 15 goals, 9 assists. We are only halfway through this Premier League season, and he's 1 assist away from doing the double-double, double goals and double assists. He has been an absolute monster. 15 goals, 6 more than the player in second place. Mo Salah, once again, just in my opinion, right now, currently, is the best player in the world. Yes, you could argue Robert Lewandowski, but as I said, Mo Salah, an absolutely different animal and will be missed by Liverpool when he goes to the African Cup of Nations in January. Genuinely, I don't know what Liverpool are going to do, which, guys, I do want to to remind you, with the African Cup of Nations coming very, very soon, that I will have a lot of Afcon 2022 content on this channel. I will be doing like the best team possible for Senegal, Ivory Coast, Morocco, videos like that. So if you don't want to miss content like that, make sure to subscribe down below. And also I'm going to do predictions for Afcon. But as I said, Mo Salah definitely will be missed by Liverpool, but so far has been an absolute animal and has been the best player in the league by a country mile. Looking at the left wing side, another African player from Liverpool in the likes of Sadio Mane was not good last season at all in my opinion, but 7 goals and 1 assist so far this season. Once again, absolutely different animal, has picked up a different level. There are probably 1 or 2 other names that I know people would like to put there, but to me, Mane, the way he's played this season, you can't really rival him. And just to think of the impact that him and Mo Salah have had on this Liverpool team together, it's just so beautiful to watch. And that takes us to our final player in this combined starting 11. And I do want to mention the likes of an honourable mention in Diogo Jota, another Liverpool player. I could make this a full front 3 of Liverpool players because Diogo Jota has been brilliant this season. We saw that in the game yesterday versus Newcastle United. Well, I say yesterday because this is the day after that Liverpool game was. I don't know when this video will come out, probably the Saturday. But my striker so far this season, although can play in a left wing position, is going to be Emmanuel Dennis, the Watford striker. As I said, can play as a left wing, can play as a striker. Another African player. I've got a full African front 3 in this list that will be missed in the Premier League, but Emmanuel Dennis has been superb. 7 goals and 5 assists for a Watford striker, the second most goal contributions in the entire league after only Mo Salah. And the fact that he is doing it with Watford, that is why I've put Emmanuel Dennis over Diogo Jota, because it is so impressive. And if he keeps this up, there's no doubt that he will get a big move very, very soon. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my best combined starting 11 so far this Premier League season. As I said, I know we're only about halfway through the season, but I thought that this would be a fun video concept to do. This is who I genuinely think is the best player in each position so far this Premier League season. As I said, if you guys have any disagreements with me whatsoever, do let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my team. In fact, yeah, I don't know if there are any changes that I would make. As I said, maybe in terms of a midfielder, I mean, Rodri could be a good shout in the defensive midfield position. Maybe I could have put in Mason Mount. I could have put in a Joel Matip. I could have put this player, that player. But at the end of the day, Premier League, best league in the world. There is so much quality and you're always going to have tough competition in every position. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. As I said, if you don't want to miss upcoming African Cup of Nations content and Premier League content, do subscribe down below. I am sorry that I haven't done a lot of Premier League predictions as of late. I have been traveling here and there. I have been very, very busy, so I haven't been able to get that content out, but it will be returning very, very soon. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed. As I said, subscribe if you're not subscribed already for whatever reason, and do give this video a like. Can we get this video on 10 likes? I would really, really appreciate that. Or you know what? It is a combined starting 11 video. Can we get this video to 11 likes? Guys, this has been Finn. FY. Enjoy the rest of this Premier League season if it doesn't get cancelled. There's lots of games being postponed as of late.